It all begins with a whisper, a faint rumor that spreads like wildfire through the dark corners of social media before sunrise. Within hours, the entire internet is drenched in shock, confusion, and disbelief. Hashtags blaze across timelines. Dr. Mendeecees, Dr. Selma speaks, Yandy truth. Everyone is talking, everyone is watching, and no one knows what to believe. Screenshots, voice notes, and mysterious DMs start flooding every platform as self-proclaimed insiders claim to have the real story. TikTok detectives zoom into pixelated photos. Twitter threads connect random dots, turning speculation into something that feels like truth. News outlets pick it up, bloggers repost it, and suddenly, what started as a late-night whisper has turned into the biggest digital wildfire of the year. Mendeecees' name becomes both a weapon and a warning. Fans who once worshipped him are now demanding answers, dissecting every old interview, every lyric, every public appearance. Selma's silence fuels the tension, her absence louder than any denial could ever be. Meanwhile, Yandy, caught in the crossfire, trends for reasons no one can fully explain. Everyone's pointing fingers, everyone's got receipts, and everyone wants to be the first to expose what really went down behind those private messages and late-night calls. The internet thrives on chaos, and tonight it's feeding like never before. Each passing hour brings new evidence, new accusations, and new heartbreaks. People aren't just watching a scandal, they're participating in it, shaping it, spreading it. The line between truth and entertainment disappears, and all that's left is a storm of opinions, screenshots, and shattered reputations. For Mendeecees, Selma and Yandy, the world they once controlled through fame is now controlling them, and the night is only getting started. As the noise grows louder, all eyes lock on Mendeecees, the man who once defined confidence and control, now standing in the middle of a digital hurricane that threatens to erase everything he built. His social media accounts, once flooded with love and loyalty, have turned into battlegrounds. Every old post is now a clue, every like and comment a piece of evidence in the court of public opinion. Fans who once praised him for his charm and humility now scroll through his photos with disgust, looking for the cracks they once refused to see. Mendeecees stays silent. No tweets, no statements, not even a story repost. And that silence becomes its own scandal. People start asking, if he's innocent, why isn't he saying anything? But behind that silence is panic. His team is in crisis mode, phones ringing nonstop, lawyers drafting statements, PR managers debating whether to speak or wait it out. Every minute of delay feels like an eternity. A leaked group chat shows alleged arguments between Mendeecees and someone close to Selma, but no one can confirm if it's real. Still, screenshots spread faster than truth ever could. Brands that once lined up to work with him start quietly pulling away. One collaboration deletes his face from a campaign overnight. Suddenly, Mendeecees is no longer a star. He's a liability. The internet begins to rewrite his story, turning his charisma into manipulation, his confidence into arrogance, his silence into guilt. But inside, Mendeecees is fighting a different battle, not just with the world, but with himself. Friends he trusted are staying quiet too, waiting to see which way the wind blows before showing support. He scrolls through the chaos, watching strangers narrate his life as if they were there, as if they knew him. Every word cuts deeper. He wants to speak, to scream that it's not true, but one wrong word could destroy him completely. His PR team insists on strategy, but the world doesn't care about strategy anymore. It cares about stories, pain, and spectacle. And tonight, Mendeecees is the perfect villain for the internet's newest drama. The same followers who once begged for selfies are now digging for scandals. The same blogs that praised his success are now counting his downfalls. Fame, once his armor, has turned into a trap. Behind closed doors, he stares at his reflection, wondering how a few private mistakes, or maybe just a few lies, turned into a global witch hunt. His silence feels heavier by the hour, and yet, he knows that once he speaks, nothing will ever be the same. Somewhere out there, Selma is watching, Yandy is trending, and Mendeecees, the man the world built up, is learning what it feels like to be torn down by the very same hands that once clapped for him. When Selma finally speaks, it's not with anger. It's with the kind of quiet that shakes the soul. After days of watching her name spiral through chaos, she posts just a few lines on her Instagram story. No captions, no hashtags, just a white background with trembling words that read like a heartbreak wrapped in courage. Within minutes, the internet freezes. Her silence had been haunting everyone. Now, her voice does what no rumor could. It pierces through the noise. Sometimes love blinds us to the truth, she writes. But when the mask falls, the pain teaches more than the promise ever did. The post isn't long, but it's enough to light the fuse again. Fans flutter comments with fire emojis and broken hearts, calling her the real one, the strong one, the woman who deserves better. In the hours that follow, reaction videos pop up everywhere. Creators dissecting her every word, influencers reading her post aloud with emotional background music, and fans connecting her cryptic message to the chaos surrounding Mendeecees. She doesn't name names, but she doesn't have to. Everyone knows. Her words hang heavy, hinting at betrayal, manipulation, and the kind of pain that turns love into a lesson. Flashbacks roll across timelines. Photos of Selma and Yandy smiling at red carpet events. Old interviews where she defended him. Videos where she looked at him like he was the only person in the world. Now those same clips feel tragic, almost haunting. People start posting side-by-side comparisons. The smile she had then versus the silence she has now. In every corner of the internet, the narrative shifts. Mendeecees' defenders grow quiet while Selma's army multiplies. The hashtags change, from .Mendeeceesgate to Stand with Selma. Even celebrities start commenting, subtly choosing sides. Behind the screen, Selma scrolls through it all. The love, the hate, the chaos, and feels both vindicated and vulnerable. She didn't plan to ignite a movement. She just wanted to speak her truth, to release what was heavy in her chest. But now her truth has become the internet's obsession. The world sees her as a symbol of strength, but inside she's still healing from the betrayal that shattered her sense of peace. Her close friends warn her that every word she posts will be twisted, analyzed, and reposted, but Selma no longer cares. For the first time, she's not protecting an image or a relationship. She's protecting herself. Her quiet post has turned into a roar that the internet can't stop replaying. And as night falls, one thing becomes clear. The story has changed direction, and this time, Selma is holding the pen. Just when the internet believes it has chosen its hero and villain, Yandy steps into the storm with the grace of someone who has been here before. But this time, her silence turns into a masterclass in control. After days of speculation, screenshots, and emotional outbursts, she finally breaks her silence. Not through a messy rant or a tearful confession, but with a single composed video titled simply, My Side. The moment it drops, the internet stops scrolling. The video begins with Yandy sitting in front of soft lighting, wearing no dramatic makeup, no filters, just raw composure. Her tone is calm, her eyes tired but focused. I've watched people build stories about me, she says, stories that never included my truth. There's no shouting, no shade, just steady, measured words that sting deeper than anger ever could. She speaks about how social media turns pain into entertainment, how people forget that behind every trending topic are real hearts breaking in silence. She doesn't name Mendeecees or Selma, yet every sentence feels like it's directed at both. Sometimes, she says softly, you can love people who were never meant to stand beside your peace. Within minutes, clips of her video flood every feed. Fans repost it, calling it classy, mature, a queen move. Others accuse her of manipulation, saying she's playing the victim. But even her critics admit she knows exactly what she's doing. Her poise becomes her weapon. The calm delivery makes the chaos around her look even uglier. PR experts call it a brilliant strategy. Analysts claim she's reclaiming her narrative, flipping the emotional tone from scandal to reflection. But to those who really listen, there's something deeper beneath her words. A tremor of exhaustion, of betrayal, of a woman who's tired of being misunderstood. Behind the scenes, brands start calling again, journalists request interviews, and suddenly Yandy, who was once just a secondary name in the drama, becomes its center. Mendeecees' silence now looks like guilt. Selma's heartbreak looks like loss. Selma's heartbreak looks like loss. And Yandy's voice? It sounds like power. The internet begins to divide all over again. One side praising her elegance, the other calling her performance cold and calculated. But no matter which side people choose, they're all still watching her. She's taken control of the narrative without throwing a single insult. In a digital war of chaos and emotion, Yandy has chosen strategy, and it's working. By the end of her 10-minute video, she looks into the camera and says one last line that burns through every comment section. The truth doesn't need to scream. It just needs time to breathe. With that, she ends the video, leaving millions stunned, confused, and obsessed. The comment sections explode, theories multiply, and the tension shifts yet again. The drama that began as Mendeecees' downfall and Selma's heartbreak now feels like Yandy's ascension. She's not reacting, she's rewriting. And as her video racks up millions of views overnight, the internet collectively realizes that this storm isn't close to over. Just when it seems like things might finally calm down, the internet does what it always does best. It detonates. Out of nowhere, in the middle of the night, a mysterious account posts a thread that changes everything. Screenshots, voice notes, timestamps, leaked messages that look too real to be fake, too perfect to be accidental. The title of the post reads, "You wanted proof? Here it is." Within minutes, it spreads like wildfire. Every influencer, gossip page, and fan account reposts it. The screenshots show late-night conversations, emotional, messy, raw, allegedly between Mendeecees and both women. One voice note, in particular, sends shockwaves through social media. A shaky, emotional voice that sounds like Mendeecees, saying words that no one expected to hear. "You know I didn't mean to hurt you," he says, the tone trembling somewhere between guilt and desperation. People replay it over and over, analyzing every syllable like detectives in a digital courtroom. YouTubers pause the audio at 0.03, zoom into the waveform, and claim it's real. Others argue it's AI-generated, but the truth doesn't matter anymore. What matters is the moment. Fans who defended Mendeecees begin to turn on him. Those who doubted Selma rush to apologize in her comments. Yandy's followers go into overdrive, posting clips of her earlier statements and calling her a prophet of peace in a storm of lies. The drama becomes a full-scale cultural event. Live streams, podcasts, TikTok duets, memes, and hashtags all competing for viral dominance. Twitter spaces fill with voices debating who's right and who's ruined. Even mainstream media outlets start covering it, calling it the biggest digital scandal of the year. But beneath the hysteria, a darker truth simmers. No one knows who leaked the receipts or why. Some say it was an insider seeking revenge. Others believe it was Mendeecees' own team trying to control the narrative, while a few whisper that maybe, just maybe, the women were never enemies at all. But speculation doesn't stop the avalanche. Every repost adds more fuel. Every edit reshapes the story. Mendeecees goes completely dark. No responses, no sightings. Selma deletes her latest post. Yandy disables her comments. Yet the silence only amplifies the madness. The receipts have done what no apology, denial, or explanation could. They've made everyone question everything. What was real? What was staged? Was love ever part of it, or was it all performance? The internet no longer wants answers. It wants more chaos, more drama, more pain to consume. And as the digital fire rages through the night, one thing becomes painfully clear. In this world, truth doesn't trend, but scandal always does. When the smoke finally begins to clear, what's left behind isn't victory, it's ruin. The internet moves fast, but the scars it leaves move slower. Mendeecees, once the center of attention, has vanished completely. His accounts are deactivated, his team unresponsive. The same fans who once begged for his updates now trade stories about his downfall, while gossip pages count the days since his last sighting like it's a countdown to something bigger. Collaborations he'd worked years to build dissolve overnight. Brands quietly remove his name from contracts. Behind the scenes, he's said to be hiding out, avoiding cameras, ignoring calls. The man who once couldn't live without attention now wants nothing more than to disappear. Meanwhile, Selma retreats into silence again, posting only cryptic quotes about peace and healing. Her followers flood her comments with prayers and hearts, but the exhaustion shows in her eyes whenever she's spotted in public. Fame, once her glow, now feels like a curse. Every step outside feels like walking through judgment. Strangers staring, phones raised, ready to capture the next moment of her pain. Yandy, on the other hand, seems to be the only one still visible, appearing calm, almost untouchable, promoting a healing and accountability podcast, while the world speculates whether she's truly moved on or simply mastered the art of survival. But even she can't escape the undertone. Every new project she launches is shadowed by comments about the scandal that made her trend. The internet has decided their roles: Mendeecees, the fallen; Selma, the wounded; Yandy, the strategist. Yet behind those roles are real people who can't scroll away from what's been said about them. Private friends turn distant. Group chats die. Old photos become evidence in a case no one can win. And while the world begins to chase new gossip, the damage lingers. Mendeecees' confidence, Selma's innocence, Yandy's peace, all of it has been touched by the storm. The silence that follows is almost eerie. No more statements, no more posts, no more live reactions, just emptiness. But in that emptiness, a strange realization grows. The world has already moved on. The same people who tore them apart are now obsessed with someone else's scandal. The hashtags fade. The timelines refresh. The internet forgets, but they can't. The fallout isn't just public. It's personal, emotional, and visible. It's in the way Mendeecees avoids his reflection, the way Selma hesitates before trusting anyone again, the way Yandy's smile feels practiced even when she means it. The chaos may have ended online, but offline it has only just begun. Weeks turn into months, and slowly, the noise fades into memory. What once consumed every feed, every headline, every conversation, now feels like a ghost that only resurfaces when old clips go viral again. Mendeecees finally reappears, not in a glossy photo shoot or a public apology video, but in a quiet, dimly lit interview that feels more like a confession than a comeback. His voice is softer now, his words careful, stripped of ego. He admits that fame blinded him, that the applause made him forget the cost of authenticity. When you live for the camera, he says, you start losing the parts of yourself the camera can't see. The world listens, not to crucify him this time, but to understand. There's a new tone in the air, something between empathy and exhaustion. Selma, too, has changed. She's no longer chasing validation or sympathy. Instead, she focuses on rebuilding, not her career, but her peace. She begins a quiet campaign about emotional healing, speaking to young women about recognizing red flags, about self-worth, about finding light after betrayal. Her words are soft but strong, the kind that come from someone who's been through fire and learned to rise from the ashes. Meanwhile, Yandy continues her evolution. She no longer posts cryptic quotes or passive remarks. Her podcast becomes a safe space for difficult conversations about truth, mental health, and how the internet often forgets that pain is real. Her voice, once polarizing, now feels grounded, no longer fighting for narrative control, but for inner clarity. For the first time, the three names that once defined chaos now represent something deeper. Lessons learned in public view. The narrator zooms out, reflecting on what the audience often forgets. That every like, every share, every cruel comment contributes to the pressure that drives people to their breaking point. The internet has become both judge and executioner, feeding on scandal but starving for truth. And yet, beneath the noise, there's still humanity. Messy, imperfect, redeemable. Mendeecees begins to rebuild quietly, not through fame, but through humility. Selma's peace becomes her power. Yandy's wisdom becomes her redemption. Their stories no longer belong to hashtags. They belong to time, to the way people remember pain, learn, and change. The closing lines hit like a mirror held up to the audience. We all watched, we all judged, we all scrolled. But how often did we stop to feel? The scandal that once divided millions now stands as a reminder of how easily we turn people's lives into entertainment, forgetting that behind every trending name is a beating heart. As the screen fades to black, the narrator's final words echo softly. In the end, it wasn't about who was right or wrong. It was about how far we fell just to feel something real. The music swells. The lights dim and the story of Mendeecees, Selma, and Yandy closes not with noise, but with silence. The kind that comes when lessons have finally been learned, and the world moves on. Leaving three souls forever changed.